fun poker hands from the recent gigantic stream that took place at Hustler Casino Live featuring Phil Hellmuth, Tom Dwan, MrBeast, and a bunch of other streamers. You all said you wanted me to review a bunch of these hands, so I figured I would. Hope you're all having a very, very good Monday morning. All right, let's get right to it. I want to make it clear I have not watched a single one of these hands. So we're flying blind. I don't know what we're going to see. Let's get to it.
I had my best hand of the night.
Pocket pair.
Dude, I was terrified.
Yeah, I have pocket jacks.
I was trying to represent it, but
Yeah.
you had me sold. But if I had enough,
I believe we have a straddle. We have a straddle to $15,000. That's my guess.
I stack you in chips, I try to come over the top.
Or maybe it's a raising a 3-bet.
Maybe you're like, fuck it.
Hey, let me down, man.
I was running it on.
Don't let me down. Just want to let you know.
Ninja.
What do you mean, don't leave
I
them?
got these for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
How much more do you have?
Not
I don't
enough.
know how I can fold this.
There you go.
If the audio is too loud, too quiet, whatever, let me know. I don't know exactly the scenario. If you raise and get 3-bet and you have pocket jacks and the guy has 33,000 behind after putting in 15, meaning he had a 45 to begin with, just put him in. Just put him in. Easy all in.
He's on your head to double
yeah.
disguise.
The pros can't beat us down.
Now he can't read your brain or your head.
By the way, depending on the initial raise size, I think the 7 should probably just rip it all in. Okay? By the way, I've watched one or two of the hands from this stream. I'm not going to be covering those today because I made YouTube videos out of them. Some of you seem to think that this game is abnormal. But it's actually, it's just like a wild game, right? I've played plenty of wild games like this. These are like the good games where people just don't care about money all that much. Not much surprises me, I guess, because I've seen basically everything. And maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. We'll see. We'll see if we're actually surprised by anything. I mean, I'd be surprised if Phil folds this, assuming it's just like a raise and a 3-bet. That'd be ridiculous, right? I'd be surprised at that. I'd be surprised if the 7 puts in a third of their money and then folds. I'd be surprised at that. But like, again, that would just be bad play. I've seen plenty of bad plays, right? Let's see.
30.
Don't worry, I'll throw him off. Ace 9, ace 9, ace 9.
Give me some.
Poker's not a team sport.
The ghost of ace 9.
Phil's got to get his TV time, you know.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Bro, these last three have been nerve-wracking. That was a great.
All right, I'm all in.
Great re-raise.
I'd be all in.
All in.
3 times
Phil, all you can eat.
I'd beat him all in. And again.
You got
I
sevens?
think I beat her and then I beat you. Up and down. No, that's like. I've
These
won
are
the.
your victims, right?
Well, but it's just interesting.
Seven,
that
sixes,
you lose 40 in a row
fours.
and then you win 8 in a row.
He's got at least
You
eight.
can lose everything in
I could have ace
It's
king.
No
just so
shot.
fascinating, like the swings of poker. Like, it was
I think this is the way to go out.
$500,000.
This is the way to go out.
What do you know? I'm not.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
Nicole.
this is because you went sevens. Yeah,
I have to, man. I just one, man. That's all I got. Nah. I like one bad beat. Hold up, I need these.
Look, keep him on. I think there's a chance here, Ninja.
I think there's a chance for him.
Can Ninja hit the
I'm not
7?
disappointed,
One time.
but I am sleeping outside tonight if I don't hit a 7. So. Oh no!
Unless queen.
That's pretty good flop.
Queen.
Pretty good
Queen
flop.
10?
Sevens could come out technically. Oh, chop.
A 10.
I'll suck a dick for a 10.
That's full.
Magic, why you keep looking at me whenever I make those types of remarks, man? Hey.
Magic, if you want a good night.
I'm in this bitch! I'm not fucking leaving!
Hey, call me on a dealer, Matt.
Well, who's getting their pants down, I guess. All right, let's see.
My word.
now, and I owe you 2.
That's fine, yeah.
Okay.
If you guys want me to figure it out, I can.
I think it's easiest if everyone just stays.
3,000.
Sure.
But I just realized I just basically said.
We have a raise to 400, a call from Tom Dwan with the 7-2 offsuit, sure, whatever. Maybe they're playing the 7-2 game. Bill here opts to 3-bet, sure. Looks like he's going kind of big. In loose, splashy, battly games, I definitely think this is perfectly fine.
Screw you, take all the work.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry, I got it.
Maybe get his attention.
Do you want to write it down? But
By the way,
Botas, come get it. 3 more thousand.
when you're playing very, very deep stacked, you do want to use bigger 3-bet sizes, right? And so I like the 3-bet to 3,000 because presumably when people raise under the gun, they're not folding. Like 5's is just going to call here and see the flop and try to spike, right? So they are playing the 7-2 game. I am certainly not well versed at playing the 7-2 game. I've probably only played it 100 times or so. And I'm sure Tom Dwan's going to play the 7-2 better than most people on this spot, because I'm sure he's played the game 10,000 times. And a lot of people just think you're supposed to 3-bet it and blast it like you would aces, but we see Tom just calling, right? Call, try to play post-flop and win a small pot with it.
I write it
Fuck
down.
it, dude.
Can you just bring a pen and paper?
Protest, play this hand and then write it down.
Okay, yeah.
Play this hand and then write it down.
okay.
3,000.
So you're good? Okay. She said,
Okay,
you said play the
I
hand
raised to
and-
30.
There you go.
30,000.
Holy shit.
That's the spot Phil's been waiting for.
So
All right, let's see how deep we are. She's basically putting in, I think we're playing, what are we playing? It's like raised to 400, so must be playing 100, 200. Does that sound right? She's basically just like putting Phil all in here for 400 big blinds. I would generally recommend against that. I think this is just a call. Call the 10s, try to flop well. Because look, you got to realize Phil's not insane. He's not ridiculous, right? So this is a spot where when it goes under the gun raise, second position call, Phil in third position with a 3-bet, he's going to have something good. And what does something good look like? Something good is going to be aces, kings, queens, jacks, ace, king, 10s, 9s, 8s maybe, but he's not going to put a stack in with 10s, 9s, and 8s. Maybe not even like ace, queen if he has it. So he's going to fold out all of his garbage. He's only going to get in with his best hands. His best hands are aces, kings, queens, and ace, king. And against that, you're in pretty bad shape with the 10s. And you got to realize the problem here is that if you make it 30, then he can just like get out of the way. You know, I mean, he can get out of the way with all the garbage easily. If you made it more something like 8, then you will get called by a lot of the weaker hands and you'll extract value. Again, I want to make it clear, I don't know any of these players besides Phil and Tom and Alan. So I'm not like trying to be mean to any of them. I'm just purely observing these hands, giving my opinions on ways people could play better. I think all these streamers did a very, very good job getting out of their comfort zones, playing in a big game to create content for all of you. So we should all be very, very thankful that this exists.
Jimmy, you're at 250.
Yeah.
Alan, you're at 2, right?
Yeah.
And then Ninja is at 50.
How much do you owe me? 100?
100.
Oh boy. MrBeast wakes up with the king and the king. So let's observe this scenario. How much does Alexandra have? That's important. She has 246K. How do you get 246K into the pot playing 100, 200? So I do know MrBeast plays very absurd. I've watched a few hands of his from earlier in the stream, and he plays blatantly absurd. And if you play blatantly absurd, I think the right play to do here, given the way I've seen him acting earlier, is you're like, all right, let's do it. And then just put in something like 80. That's going to get called by Alexandra a lot. If Phil Hellmuth has anything, then he's probably going to pop it in, right? Because he's seen MrBeast play insane. I think the play here, I know it's going to be hard to come up with this in-game, is to say, Phil, how much do you have? Knowing already Phil has 83K, right? And knowing that Phil has 83K, you can say, Phil, how much do you have? He's going to take a minute, count out roughly 83K. And you say, I'll do that much, and put in that much, as if you're trying to target Phil, right? That will ideally make Alexandra think that you're not even paying attention to her for whatever reason, and that's going to make her presumably overvalue whatever hands that she has, right? I realize, again, that's very, very difficult to come up with in real time, but I'm just trying to teach all of you, again, how to think about these spots if you are playing in these loose, absurd games, which, believe it or not, actually do happen at medium and high stakes, especially in home games. So, there you go. Some people are saying some of these players are beginners. Yeah, I know that. I mean, but being a beginner is not an excuse for poor play, right? I mean, I guess it is an excuse, but it's not a good one. You just got to realize that I'm attempting to show you things that people are doing incorrectly and also how to take advantage of things that people are doing incorrectly. And so anyway, that's that. All right. So yeah, Phil, how much do you have? All right, that much. I wouldn't even say a number. I would just like put in like 100K or something. That'd be a pretty savage play.
Okay. After this, I'm just gonna give her 100.
You can transfer your debt to her and I'll owe her 300.
Yeah, that'd be easier. I'll do it after. Well, yeah, no one has this many chips, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give her 100 now. It doesn't matter.
She also got 30,000, so you got some thinking to do.
Okay. MrBeast is trying to give back a loan to Alexandra so that she has more money to lose to him in this hand. That's fantastic.
Hand first, Jimmy.
Okay, after this, I'm gonna give her a where's I wish I had X ass. If I have good luck.
Oh, the good luck.
Fuck it. We've been doing good.
Call 30,000.
Definitely.
You gotta be kidding me.
Back to Phil. Easy all in.
10
Easy all in for Phil. I mean, what are you gonna do?
queens and kings.
What do you have, Botez? Big bear?
Good content.
How big?
Yo, say.
Kind of a gangster.
Yeah, I like it. That was pretty. How do you think she's up 800,000
I
fucking
mean, I was
dollars?
already her fan. I think she's a gangster, but still.
I appreciate it,
She's a
Tom.
little extra gangster.
There's
By the
probably a
way.
high correlation. Oh,
By the way, if it goes, remember what Ray's call under the gun. Phil 3-bets big. Alexander 3-bets gigantic. Yeah, only 1,200 big blinds deep. Alexander 3-bets gigantic. MrBeast cold calls. Phil's about to put his money in. This is just a fold for the tens. It sucks, but what are you gonna do? That's why you don't want to put in 30 though. You'd rather put in 8 or 9 or 10 and then be able to fold and just save 20K.
Oh, you have
good
ace
at
king,
chess and
Botez?
good at.
Botez, you have ace
No,
king, don't you?
definitely not.
It's not. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Our case study here.
I don't think she's that good at chess, though.
Thanks, Lud.
All right. Well, that was a conversation that sounded different.
Like, she's good, but, you know.
Phil called?
Phil just called.
I hate the just call here. I think the just call is pretty bad. MrBeast's range is going to be wide open. Now, I realize that MrBeast has been playing a ton of hands. But here what you really want to have happen, I think, is for you to jam, Alexander to call whatever she has, MrBeast then call whatever he has, and get all the money in. Because now what's going to happen is imagine one of the players does have ace-king, and the flop comes whatever, 9-3-2. You're not going to stack ace-king anymore, right? What if they have ace-jack suited? Then, you know, you're not going to stack them. So you got to realize when Phil has only 55K more, 56K more, and Pupat's going to be humongous, he would rather get it all in. Seems like a lot of people are complaining in the chat about Phil Hellmuth or loving Phil Hellmuth. You got to realize, people who are very polarizing draw attention. There's a reason Jonathan Little's not the most popular video blogger or YouTuber in this space. It's because I'm not all that polarizing. Sure, some people don't like me, some people love me, but polarization drives attention, whether it be good or bad. And it all depends on what you're trying to accomplish in life. I personally don't want to walk around with a bunch of people not liking me. Phil seems to not care all that much. Or maybe he does care and, you know, he's doing what he's doing. But I'm not here to discuss the merits of Phil Hellmuth's behavior at the poker table. That's been discussed by plenty of people, plenty of times. Anyway, Ace XX. Check fold now for Phil. Check fold now for MrBeast.
Car and poker.
Oh, and what a
Thank you.
terrible flop for action. That's gonna.
Notice, by the way, if MrBeast had just done what I said, make it 80, Phil would have called, gotten back around to Alexander, she would have called, probably, and then they would have gotten a lot of money in. Maybe she would have jammed, for all I know, right?
Gonna kill all the action, you'd think.
Check.
Nobody likes the ace in the flop.
Value that.
5,000.
When
I would have literally never done this in my life. I don't know what Phil's trying to do here. What, are you trying to induce a raise? I guess you don't want to check and have her jam with 10s and then you fold out. That would be terrible. Maybe bet 5 instead. They can, like, maybe you presume they're going to call with worse every time. Or call with an underpair every time and you don't lose that much more money. This seems like torching 5,000 to me. I think it's just an easy check fold, but whatever. By the way, huge thanks to the Hustler Casino Live for making this stream, letting us use their footage. We are not stealing this footage as some people do. They give us full rights to use the footage as we see fit. So thanks to them for that.
played with her last week.
she'd be like $25.
Yeah, she would do the.
By the way, with 10s here, you got to call. It's an annoying spot, but if you put in 5, you can conceivably win a ton if you do spike a 10, right? You're getting amazing pot odds. You're getting 20 to 1 pot odds plus implied odds here.
Min bet.
Call with kings too, same thing.
There's a pot of like 1,400.
Yeah.
King's still good.
Yeah, she's just like,
Is Phil still betting?
Feel me in.
Feel me. I'm like trying to remember what I had.
Decide that way I can.
Pot is now 124,000. MrBeast gonna win this 91% of the time. 9 of hearts doesn't change that.
I like when Phil does it. Oh.
Check.
Check. And MrBeast wins a huge one.
Wow.
Fuck, I should have bet harder. If that ace wasn't there,
Everybody.
Notice here.
yeah, if that ace wasn't there, I would have gone so much harder.
Scared all you.
It did.
Phil, how'd you not go all in pre-flop?
Because I'm Phil fucking Hellmuth. I mean, have you seen all the coolers they put on me tonight? Like all the weird shit. Like she makes it 30K. I've raised 4 pots all night. I'm finally gonna bust her, and fucking he wakes up with kings. What the fuck?
Nice teamwork, Jimmy. I'm kidding.
So if I give her this 100,
If Tom whipped that out, then I'm Tom Vaughn thing, everyone would just die laughing.
I'm Tom Heck and Dwan.
This is
not expected.
fucking unbelievable what they've done to me in this fucking stream.
wait, so what?
All right, no more vulgarity, Phil Hellmuth. We're gonna have a perfectly clean stream for the rest of the day. Children are watching. I apologize to all the parents and all the children. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, by the way. I realized that was yesterday, but thanks to all the mothers. Phil Hellmuth has scared off a lot of people from poker. I highly doubt that. You got to realize most people are never going to play poker with Phil Hellmuth or anybody like Phil Hellmuth. Nobody's thinking, I'm not going to play poker because Phil Hellmuth exists. I can guarantee you there's way worse people that you can play against than Phil Hellmuth. I can guarantee you, okay? Whenever I go to a tournament, I'm not thinking, oh no, I hope I don't run into Phil Hellmuth. I'm thinking I don't run into people who are like shady. I'm going to try to like actively cheat me or try to scam me or try to murder me in the parking lot, you know? Like I'm not worried about playing against Phil Hellmuth who acts like a baby at the table sometimes. So yeah, don't worry about that. Come on, everybody. Is Phil the greatest tournament player ever? So somebody did some math a while back. I don't remember who it was, but they came up with the rough estimate that Phil Hellmuth had something like a 50% return on investment in World Series of Poker tournaments. 5-0, which is, you know, good, but probably not greatest of all time. Certainly, he's been around for a long time. He's been playing at a high level for a long time, and just doing that alone will give you good results. I mean, probably no one, or almost no one, has played as many World Series of Poker events as him, just because he had a head start over people like Negreanu, right, who also plays a ton. I mean, again, I have, Phil's always been nothing but nice to me, but if his ROI is 50%, I'm sure there are people out there who have played a lot of games that have a higher than 50% ROI. Have I gotten the Phil Hellmuth treatment before? Yeah, a few times. It's a lot of fun. It's like, I don't mind it, because like, why would I care what someone says? You have to have relatively thick skin to play poker, in my opinion. That's the prerequisite to the job. And
I don't think he knows what he's doing.
I'm not so worried about somebody being unhappy when they lose. People are plenty unhappy when they lose. I'm never worried that Phil Hellmuth is going to assault me, right? I've had to deal with people who are perhaps going to assault me at the poker table or go to their car and come back with a weapon. You know, like, I'm not worried about that at all with Phil Hellmuth. Phil Hellmuth can talk to you like this at the table and then go out to dinner 5 minutes later and be perfectly fine, right? So you got to realize that if you think this is bad for the game, I mean, maybe it's like marginally bad, but I don't think it's marginally bad. People like controversy. They like villains. I mean, I remember Negreanu talking about this a while back. Like, would you rather poker be like golf, where nobody really gets to talk and they all have to dress up and play nice together, or would you rather this be world wrestling, where there are villains and heroes and crazy stuff happens? And I think maybe the right answer is crazy stuff happens. That's not me and my persona at all, but you got to ask what we're actually trying to do here, right? Okay, let's take a look at this hand.
If he doesn't know what he's doing that beats you, does that mean he does know
I
what he's
hate to
doing
get that,
at like a
but
high
I get
degree?
it. Because I can just say,
Like it
just
loops.
raise.
Well, yeah, once you understand people are playing like that, then they're dead.
Right.
Until then, I'm like,
Right off the bat, so in loose, splashy games like this, you definitely do not want to raise offsuit hands at all from early position, because you're going to get a lot of calls, and you're going to be out of position with nothing or a top pair bad kicker a lot of the time, which is not where you want to be, okay? Same thing with Alexandra calling. You don't want to call from early position, even with a connected hand, because you are going to be very dominated by anybody yet to act and by the initial raiser. And there's no guarantee you can get paid off if you do spike a straight or something. So you just want to fold these hands. Now, ace-jack offsuit's a hand that probably does want to 3-bet it, as Alan does. Now, look, Alan plays some loose, splashy, insane poker. I'm pretty sure Alan's really, really good at poker, though. Maybe we have to delete that. He doesn't want that to get out. But this is a spot where I think 3-betting is pretty standard. You may even want to go a little bit bigger here, like 6,000. Not mentioning boat heads in the title of the stream is a blunder. Look, I did not make the title of the stream, so blame my editor. My editor also pulled up all these hands. I've not seen a single one of them. Okay? Is this like the Survivor game that I played? No, the Survivor game that I played was way more cautious, passive, etc. I get the vibe that a lot of these streamers are very, very, very wealthy, or somehow they've come into this money. Somehow, I don't know exactly what's happening in this game. I get the vibe these people literally don't care about money. This is more like a, it's more like a Los Angeles home game where it's a bunch of celebrities who have good paying gigs all the time, which I have had the fortune to play in a few times, or like San Francisco games where you have tech people who have infinite money. Winners of Survivor, while they're usually well off, they only have $1 million. You can't play like this with $1 million. All right, anyway, good 3-bet. I would have gone bigger though.
Have you never played against someone who was tilted from the last hand?
5,000.
Okay, that's a logical explanation.
1,000, a call, 5,000, call.
And I'm also mad at myself for not calling because it's also possible you just do that with like sixes or something crazy.
Notice here, MrBeast calls the 10-4 suited. If you know people are going to be calling raises with stuff like 10-4 suited, you want to make it bigger, right? Just because if they fold, whatever, and if they call, that's fine too, right? You just get more money in the pot.
Okay.
I am bad at the game.
Here's the thing, why do good girls like
can't
that
blame
guys?
you. It's my fault. I really can't.
Ninja has flopped the nuts, shows Phil, and then checks.
All right. Okay. All right, Ninja, you don't want to show the nuts to anyone. I'm going to go ahead and guarantee you this. You never want to show people at the table your hand to begin with, even if they're not in the hand. But also, you don't want to show people the nuts, because then they're going to be like paying attention a little bit more, right? You also don't want to show people bluffs if you're going to run a bluff, because they'd be like, oh my god, right? So this is a spot where you don't want to show people anything. I mean, maybe you just feel like it, maybe you want to be friendly, whatever, but it's unnecessary. That kind of thing is very unnecessary. Because now, what if Phil does something funny? I mean, I don't think Phil's going to do anything, but he might, you never know, right? And you definitely don't want to show your hand to like a random person who's not a player with a really good poker face. Like imagine right now he shows the nuts to Phil and Phil just goes like this and just sits there or stops talking immediately and starts paying attention. You know what I mean? Like you don't really want that to happen. Okay, so fine, whatever. He checks. So this is a spot where I've definitely bet with all of my premium hands that are likely to get outdrawn, that are decently vulnerable, right? And so right here on King, Queen, 9, it's decently likely that someone has some sort of a draw. Or 2-pair or something that'll pay you off, right? So you just want to bet. You want to bet pretty big, exploitatively.
That might be a tell. I don't know.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Well, he's thinking too. He's got 15.
No, I was just trying to figure out.
Oh, I'm sorry. This went... That analysis all went out the window. I forgot that Alan 3-bet. You all have me distracted with all the chat. My apologies. We definitely should have checked the Jack 10 there. My apologies. Definitely check over to Alan, who's going to bet this spot a decent amount. If Alan doesn't bet MrBeast, he'll bet a lot too. So, okay. Fine. My apologies. Bad analysis. You all got me confused. Okay. Checks to Alan. I would just check this in Alan's shoes. It's so likely someone's going to call you. I mean, I guess if you want to triple it off, you can. Alan's known to triple it off. Everybody is pretty deep stacked. Imagine you bet 15 here, get called. Pots goes to, what, 65, 70, something like that. Bet turn for 50, jam river. Sure. I don't hate it. I mean, it's like an okay hand to do it with, I suppose, if you are going to have some bluffs. I guess you'd rather have a flush draw. So anyway, whatever.
Math.
You weren't doing one
Turns
of
out
those.
that's 15K.
MrBeast should just call here with 10-4 suited, by the way. You definitely do not want to raise. In multi-way pots in general, when someone makes a bet on a board that should connect very well with other people's ranges, you in turn don't want to do a lot of raising just because they're betting very polarized, right? If they're betting very polarized to begin with, then you just don't raise at all. And here you really don't want to raise and they get jammed because you're going to be dominated by stuff like ace of X of spades some portion of the time, and that's really, really bad. Okay.
Keep it in my hand though.
Right.
MrBeast, by the way,
Re-raise?
has a gut shot at a flush draw.
15K, re-raise. 30.
Okay, let's think about this. here he goes for a small raise. I mean, I realize this is probably just the default raise to 3 times whatever the last bet was, but that is not good logic. You usually want to be raising in proportion to the size of the pot, because imagine they bet $1. You want to raise to $3? Obviously, that'd be ridiculous into a $55,000 pot, right? So I think you probably just want to go a little bigger here. You may even just want to shove. I know that sounds kind of insane to say you want to shove with the nuts, but it is so easy. So easy to be against a hand like King Queen. That's just going to call it off. They will fold out on bad rivers. Like imagine the turns any spade after you make it 30 and they call a King Queen. They're probably just going to get out of the way. Imagine it's a Jack or a 10. They're probably just going to get out of the way. I think in this spot, assuming Ninja's been splashy, which he has, we just saw that 7s hand where he got it all in for a load. This is a spot where I think you want to raise, and I realize the stacks are really deep, but your hand's super vulnerable to getting outdrawn, right? And in this scenario, you don't care if flush draws fold. And there's going to be a lot of flush draws available in a multi-way pot. And there's going to be a lot of premium hands available, like sets. Like sets just aren't going to fold, but they may end up folding on various rivers if somehow a lot of money goes in and, the board gets worse. So I'm very rarely saying you want to rip it in with the nuts here, but from out of position against a bet and a call, it's just so likely someone has some hand that either has equity or is like pretty good that may not fold. So anyway, let's see what happens.
God damn. Jesus Christ, Tyler.
Ninja Blevins.
Ninja Blevins.
Like right here now, the ace jack should just fold. And notice that hand, that's a hand that was drawing, relatively thin. But notice MrBeast with the 10-4 spades can easily call and try to spike, right? And he's doing so correctly. You always want to make plays that make your opponent screw up, okay? If your opponents play well, you're not making a whole lot of money. Now, you may say, if you jam it all in here, they're going to mostly play well. They're going to fold out ace-jack. Well, yeah, they're going to fold ace-jack anyway. Or if they have, nothing, say they have pocket 3s, they're going to fold out. Yeah, but what about when they do have the king-queen or the king-9 suited or the pocket 9s? They're just going to call it off every time. What about when they have the flush draw? They may even decide to call it off, and that's also fine for you because you're getting all your money in as a pretty big favorite.
So this was the rebrand.
This is just a fold for the ace-jack. Don't be insane.
I don't want to get too much into live reads, but it certainly doesn't look like Ninja's bluffing here.
Allen splashes. I would not splash here. I think there's some chance that MrBeast jams. Not a big chance, but some chance. And the thing is that if you spike in Allen's shoes and make a straight on the turn with a 10, you may have a really difficult time getting paid, right? So this is a spot where I think the play is probably just a fold, because when you do spike, you're not going to get paid. Can you finish this sequence of action so you can go? Oh, feel free to leave whenever you like. If you don't like the show, feel free to leave. It will not bother me. Don't worry. Also, people are here to hear my analysis. We're not here to watch somebody else's YouTube videos and sit here quietly. If you want to watch their YouTube video, go to the YouTube video.
He looks really excited.
Obvious call from MrBeast here.
So,
Alright, 3 ways.
it's going to be whoever has the highest spade for the flush, probably.
Oh, no. All in.
Wow. I mean,
that looked a little bit too happy to me, I'm not going to lie. Remember earlier with the 7s, he kind of like hemmed and hawed? Now he's just like snap all in. No, this is so strong. This is so strong. Look at Phil Hellmuth, by the way, who knows he has the nuts. Look at Phil Hellmuth.
Could you not?
Look at how weird he's acting. You see? This is because Phil Hellmuth knows that he has a straight, and he's sitting here thinking, oh my god, about to win all the money. You see, like, this is why you really, really, really don't want to show people your hand, because even Phil Hellmuth is acting out of the ordinary. Phil Hellmuth before was talking and chatting and goofing off. Now look at him, he's serious.
Let's do it.
Oh my god.
Good luck.
What do you have? I need you to flip now.
We'll settle up after.
No. You have me beat. Flip now. Are you on the...
I want to build the suspense. I've got something.
50.
What do you have?
Right.
4,000.
I want to build suspense.
If you get what I think you're going for, I am telling you right now, you'll find me hung in a closet with...
You ready?
Yeah.
Jimmy might be drawing one time. There's a flush draw?
One time.
I have a flush draw and a straight draw and a pair.
Well, that's
So what do you have, like ace jack?
Ninja all in. And I remember Ninja showed him the cards, showed Phil the cards, and then went all in. And full double here for Ninja.
You have the nut straight.
You rivered a straight. That's
I don't have anything. I just had a pair of 4s. I was chasing a flush.
You flop the nuts and then you river the nuts.
44.
wow.
All right, then. Nice hand by, I mean, besides the pre-flop call, MrBeast played the hand fine post-flop, so that's good. I think Ninja probably should have just ripped it in on the flop because you don't really care if the 10-4 suited folds. I mean, obviously, it doesn't make much of a difference one way or the other. 99 cents face vomiting. Okay, then. Thank you.
$1 million.
Oh, here we go.
Are any of the pros
Unless,
winning right now?
I mean, I guess she does have the WPT badge, so maybe.
one person here.
No, it wasn't
Yeah,
a
with the
badge.
pro.
It was the creator
The one
category.
pro did win, huh?
It was the creator category,
Is it
and
now?
there was 2 other creators.
Sure.
We have Limp from XQC. How do you say this? Anybody know how to say this? XQC, opts to Limp with a Jack 5 offsuit. Probably not a good strategy. Ninja should definitely raise here, I think. Now, look. Basically a bunch of limpers. I guess Allen can splash pretty wide if you don't think he can get raised all that often by people you have to act. But in the hijacks, you have to worry about cutting butt off, button, small blind, big blind, right? Like, decent number of people who could raise. So I think I'd probably just fold this 7-6.
Sure. Interesting. I think
Oh, you mean the badge?
The
Yeah.
game's over?
Yeah, you might need to pivot your LinkedIn from creator to pro.
She has like queens and I have like aces.
All right.
She'll call.
Assuming they're playing the 7-2 game at this point, this is a great spot for MrBeast to raise. When it goes limp, then this is a really nice one to go for the raise. Because when you raise over limps, you're going to get a lot of folds. If you go to something like 2,000 or maybe 3,000 and then continuation bet the flop, you're going to pick it up a ton of the time in the 7-2 offsuit game. This is not a spot to limp because you're just, trying to spike 2 pair. You got to realize, in multi-way pots, you have to make something decent a lot of the time. You're just not going to make something decent a lot of the time. So you just want to raise. All right, anyway, let's see what happens.
300,000, I think, right?
Phil's
folds,
scaring
good
me,
fold.
man.
Tom Dwan. Oh, wait, what happened here? Maybe MrBeast did raise to 10,000. Oh, he did raise. He went gigantic. My bad. It was covered up down here. Okay, so now let's recap the action. Limp, 10,000. I think that's a little bit egregious. I would have gone more like 3. When you do go 10, you're going to win it a lot. The problem is you're going to run into a good hand every once in a while, and then you actually lose a lot of money. So I think the play here is to make it more like 3. Over to Tom. What do you do if you're Tom? We are playing 100,000 effective. I know it's behind this bar here. We're playing 100,000 effective. Do we call or do we re-raise? Well, if you call, you're basically never going to get re-raised. The problem is Tom is out of position. You really don't want to be out of position. So I guess you're supposed to click it to like 22K or something. I think 20K, 22K is pretty nice. That's going to keep MrBeast in with literally everything. So I think that's fine. You got to stop talking sense here. You have to understand, I'm not trying to observe what people do. It's easy to observe what people do. It's important to put yourself in someone like Tom Dwan's shoes, who knows how to play very well, and ask, what would I do in these spots, right? This is a learning and a study stream, right? You can't put in 3K, you'll get 5 callers. Maybe you will. Maybe you will. I doubt it, but maybe you will. So anyway, I'm doing my best to analyze these spots as if I'm in Tom Dwan's shoes, effectively, where I'm in this game somehow, and now I have to figure out what to do, right? A lot of people get it in their minds that the purpose of watching poker content is to see what happens. I don't care what happens at all. I literally don't care at all. I just made a whole video series for pokercoaching.com where I went through a lot of final table hands that I played and other great players played at the US Poker Open recently. And I don't think I looked at a showdown a single time because it doesn't matter. I don't really care what happens. I care about figuring out the right play over and over and over and over and over again. And it would be great to know that if you made it 3K, or do you just get a bunch of calls? Maybe you do. Be good to know. I doubt the 7-6 offsuit would call 3,000. All right. Would or could an AI bot ever beat or break even in a game that no solver could figure out? Yeah, if you play close to GTO, you will beat any game. It doesn't even matter what your opponents do. That's the nice thing about playing GTO is it doesn't matter what your opponents do. They will lose. You may not maximally... Well, you will not maximally exploit them, but you also will not lose. I'd go to 22K here. Maybe 25. Because look, MrBeast does splash hard. You want to go to an amount that makes it to where MrBeast thinks he has some fold equity if he shoves. Simple as that. Now, for what I understand, Tom has a problem in this game where he's been super neat, super nitty, super passive, straightforward, as you should be in games where everybody's going nuts. So yeah, I would make it 25, I guess, 24 or something like that. You don't want to go too big here, because if you go too big, then you'll start to get folds, right? You want to make MrBeast and everybody else think that you may decide to fold if you get jammed.
I'm just gonna fold when Phil's in a hand.
Jimmy, if you don't be afraid. You got away with it once. That's what people do against me. They like.
So Tom goes 35. I don't love the 35, given MrBeast has 100, because it's actually pretty bad in this spot if MrBeast folds anything, right? And I do think he will fold sometimes. Now, he may splash with a 7-2, but imagine he just had some nonsense. I don't know.
Potato chips. I beat Phil. It's like a potato chip.
Cash your butt.
Phil, what's your
Dwan started this hand with 141,000.
But I'll take a look and tell you after you've acted.
Jimmy, what's your score against Phil?
A lot. Sorry, I'm counting.
Oh,
Ninja with a good fold.
This is us?
Full support, yes.
I know you hated it.
Beast has got 7 deuce. You know he wants to win this. They are playing the 7 deuce game.
It's just a fold here, the 7-2. It's annoying, but like, what are you gonna do?
How much do you have?
7, 3, 8, fucking, dude, I've been getting all.
No serious concern with how much he has, right? If you're in his shoes and you see it's only 65 behind, Tom's not folding. So therefore you can't really do anything. But if Tom made it something like 22 or 24, then maybe you can think he can fold for 75 more.
Today.
Okay, whatever. We have about the same.
A little on, or just over 100 more.
Listen, I love me.
They do not have about the same. MrBeast has 100K. Tom has 100K plus 35. Very different.
Some Dwan, but we're all kind of rooting for a 7 deuce in this flop, aren't we?
Well, I'm glad it's between the two.
Yeah,
Look at the background there. Yellow glasses. That is Antonio Esfandiari, the magician here. There's a deuce for MrBeast. Still way behind. Neither player with a club in their hand.
Bet medium, I guess, or small. I mean, normally you want to just bet small, but I think here... Maybe you want to even check. If you check, will he ever bluff? Ugh, I don't know. It's either check or bet small. Normally you're not trying to check the 10 high board ever out of position here. You just want to bet small and frequently, like 10,000. But maybe you're supposed to check the MrBeast, who seems to be insane. As your opponent is very insane and will take more and more aggressive actions, then you should be inclined to just check a lot, especially with hands that can easily call. But whatever, check or bet small. Definitely don't shove here. What a lot of people do wrong here is they shove, and then if MrBeast has like queen jack or whatever, he's just going to fold, right? But if you check, he may bluff. So either check or bet small.
I'm all in.
Oh, there you go.
Once or twice.
Tom snap checked. MrBeast snap all in, easy call.
One.
One time then.
All in the call. Pot is 231,000.
Okay, well, I thought it would be funny to try to win with this.
You are live, dude. I need 792.
One time confirmed.
I mean, it's not over yet.
5 cards in the deck.
Come on, poker gods, let me win with a 7-2.
You won with a queen 6, man. Suck my ass.
That's close.
Hey, I got gypped like 2 or 3 times before. It's true.
You didn't get gypped?
Yeah, when that ace came on the river that one time.
You know what? I believe Jimmy. This is the one.
I'm gonna predict it's a 7.
I think he's got it.
To him.
Oh my god.
That would have been great.
These players are relatively vulgar. Interesting.
You know, maybe a lot of his fans, like, they probably really cherish and enjoy getting something like that from MrBeast.
Let's see. Somebody said something that I think... Oh, they were talking about bots. Could bots win in this game? Yeah, they would smash them. If you put a perfect GTO playing bot in this game, it will demolish the game. Now, someone said bots struggle because the opponents won't fold very often. You got to understand, bots are not idiots. They're not going to bluff into very multi-way pots. Also, you structure your range intelligently. So that whenever you are loading up a bunch of money, you're going to be very polarized, right? And if you're very polarized, you don't care if your opponent calls every time, or folds every time, or calls the GTO amount of the time. You win what is in the pot on average. That's the power of polarization and making sure your ranges are structured well. So yeah, maybe your bluffs get called literally every time. But you know what else gets called literally every time? Your value bets. And then you win a ton of money. I think a lot of people don't understand the power of GTO strategies. There's a whole book on this. Let me show it to you. Here's a book by Michael Acevedo, poker coach and coach. I helped get this book together. The big book discussing modern poker theory. Big GTO book. It's a bit of a hard read. I like it a lot, though. It discusses a lot of basic principles, such as exploitation, right? How do you go about exploiting your opponents? And if you try to exploit your opponents, what can they do if they decide to properly counter-exploit you? But anyway, you got to understand that if you play GTO poker and your opponents play worse than GTO, you will win. The question is, how much will you win? You win more by exploiting the opponents, which is, I'm sure, what people like Tom Dwan or Alan Keating are doing, right? And if you don't exploit your opponents, you'll win based on how bad they play. But if you exploit your opponents, you'll win substantially more based on how bad they play. A lot of people like to think in their minds, oh, if it's a crazy game, nobody can win. Or it's just bingo. Like, no, it's not. Tom Dwan sat here for 5 hours, 6 hours, got the kings, got it all in, and got a double up. I mean, is that bingo? Like, no, he just gets it in with a load of equity. Ever played in a game crazy? Like, yes, I've played in plenty of games like this. People asked at the start of the show, you wouldn't believe this game. Like, I mean, look, I've been around the block a few times, okay? I've played a lot of poker. This is like a LA home game or a San Francisco home game full of celebrities or, you know, tech multimillionaires. Or it's like a New York hedge fund game to some extent where a bunch of people are really, really rich and they don't care about money at all. Fine and good, right? Let's play.
So, you know, I'm sure he's got a justification for it that turns it into.
Yeah, I don't think he anticipated that $1.2 million worth of chocolate would be given away, but he is obviously, if you watch his videos, you know he gives away tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it seems like every dollar he gives away, he gets 6 back. So,
yeah,
it's all an investment in this brand.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he seems definitely on multiple other levels at multiple things when it comes to kind of what his operation is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing but respect. But yes, my 8-year-old does have a Beast hoodie.
Cool.
All right, let's slow down here.
Do we have anything to give away?
Reading the chat over here. We have a limp. I'm sorry, we have a raise, limp, and a call. We have a raise. It's 15,000 with a 7-2. I think, again, that's egregiously big. And we have a call by the ace-10 offsuit. Probably a little bit too loose. Okay.
Wait, Alan, 3-bet alert, 7-deuce offsuit, going for that 7-deuce bounty if you're wondering what he's thinking.
By the way, if the bounty is $500, assuming no post-flop playability, you're risking 15,000 to win 5. It's not a good risk-reward ratio. You would much rather go smaller. That way you're risking like 5 to win 5. It needs to work way less often. Okay? Whatever.
Sure. Need to know Alexandra's cringy.
Sure.
Now I'm curious that he has actually shown he's shown a couple of guys next to him what the cards are, so they know it's going to cost them $500 if there's a fold here.
That's insane. I would literally never show non-professional poker players my 7-2 offsuit here. That is literally insane.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting.
And you got a fucking 10 on me, too. What the?
Is this a good flop for you?
20,000.
Not for a moment. Not for a goddamn moment.
This pot could get pretty big here, Dave. 71,000 in the middle.
That's not a good turn card for Alan.
Is that a good card for you?
Anything you say here, I say call to.
I paid that. Wait, 100 grand?
Get me now.
Okay. Alan's trying to make some read here. His opponent announces, anything you say here, I'm going to call. As you probably should against Alan. So look, if we somehow found ourselves in this spot with, let's say, ace-10 suited, which would make some sense, I suppose, you can't fold against Alan. Alan's pretty ridiculous, pretty aggressive, and you absolutely cannot fold here. That's certainly an annoying spot. So yeah, I mean, I just think you got to give up. I mean, this is a spot where, especially when a guy looking like this announces, I'm calling any amount you bet. You probably shouldn't bet. Let's see if Alan does.
Wow.
Okay. Look at me now. Look at me now.
Even if I bet everything?
Look at me now. That's literally what's happening right now.
I guess you say, all right, I'm all in. No, you say check fold.
I think Alan genuinely believes him, too, when he asks him.
He's like, I've bet my match.
Look at me now. Look at me now.
But we know he doesn't like to give up.
Weird, great things happen.
Just such an awful bluff card. Queen.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you beat
Jack.
Jack.
Should check here, because it's either check or bet small, right? If you bet small, he may jam you, and that would be really bad. I think the better play is to check and give him every opportunity to bluff with stuff like ace-jack, etc. on the river, or just like nonsense on the river. Remember, it started off as a limp pot, I think, right? So there you go. I would probably check.
Jack 9, King Jack. Ludwig's been playing relatively tight, it seems like, in some of these re-raise situations. So
Like, that's what I was telling fucking Felix, man. And the dude's like, yo, and they understood what he was saying, and that's.
They did pick it up pretty quick.
Dude, I'm sitting here like,
impressive.
I swear to God, there was a moment where he was like, excuse me.
He said
And
endangered
then
species.
looked at her and was like, could I get a...
Ludwig's going to check it back, and does this induce Allen?
Does she understand what I'm saying? I swear to God, that was like, go there, like,
I think Allen knows he probably doesn't have a queen.
and she's like, I got you. And he goes,
You said flush draw.
That's a tough spot now, because when the opponent checks it back, like commentator says here, it probably doesn't have a queen. All right. I'm trying to think, how do you get a fold here with the 7-2? Can you say anything? Look, the speech play is not my specialty. I try to just focus on playing good cards, but in these types of games, speech play can become very, very important, because essentially you're playing against players who care about such things. When you play at the high stakes, nobody says much of anything, because nobody really cares what you say. But in the lower stakes games here, I'm sure there's something you could say that could induce an ace-10 to fold. What is it? I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, do you say something like, oh, well, I must be good then. All in. I must be good then. All in. I mean, but like, that seems so straightforward. That's just like base level thing to say. Maybe she'll say the only way I can win is to bluff. I don't know. This is where, like, I don't know the level of what like thought process the opponents are having, right? Maybe Allen does. I would not be the least bit surprised if Allen does, because I know he gets to play a lot of very good games like this. So one of those two things is probably ideal to say. Notice they are the exact opposite. And I don't know which will matter. Maybe, though, to be fair, Ludwig's just going to make an easy call of the ace-10, because it is just an easy call of the ace-10. So yeah, that's that. Why is the queen pairing on the turn a bad bluff card? Because Ludwig's always going to call the flop with all the queens, and if he had a 10, it just got proportionally way better, right? So if he has a queen, he's literally never folding. If he has a 10, he's probably not going to fold either. Imagine the terms instead of king or an ace. Well, now a queen or a 10 get way worse, right?
fucking crazy, dude.
50,000.
50,000.
Wow. That is the definition of a snap call.
Wrecked.
I think the play is to not bet 50,000 here, because the 10's never going to fold to 50,000. I mean, I agree here that Ludwig probably never has a queen, or rarely has a queen. So how much do we have to bet to get a hand like a 10 to fold, or a hand like pocket 9s to fold? And I think the answer is like all of it. All of it. You have to apply maximum pressure here. And to be fair, it's not all of Ludwig's money anyway, because Allen only had 100K or something. So tough spot.
I mean, it's one thing to try to get a bluff through, but when your opponent snap calls you that quick, ouch.
You should show the table.
Show the goddamn table what you fucking just nutted, please.
He just lost 100 G's on a 7-2.
No!
Ludwig played him like a fiddle right there. Great play by...
A lot of you seem to not be aware that money is relative. Some of you seem to think, oh my God, how is Allen still happy after losing $1 million? I don't know anything about Allen's financial situation, besides he plays a lot of private home games on a regular basis. And I gotta presume he's doing okay. Also, a lot of these people here, these streamers, make pretty decent money. I make pretty decent money, and I'm not even big time. So I can only imagine if you were big time how much money you'd be bringing in. So you got to realize the money is very, very relative at the end of the day. And $1 million to one person is not that much to somebody else, right? I have the wrong thing here at the bottom of the screen. You guys didn't tell me. You all didn't tell me that this was here. Why didn't you tell me this was here? This is not what we're watching. There we go. We'll just leave that blank for today. Only 50 minutes in did I figure this out. Should probably look over here a little bit more often. Anyway, money's all relative. Yeah, so MrBeast made $54 million last year. He doesn't care that much, right? I mean, the others maybe made like 3 or 5 or 10. And if they lose 100 or 200, it's like, yeah, it sucks, but whatever. Okay? Allen's been playing poker a very long time, as long as I have, for those who are unaware. Let's go through another hand.
between multiple games, and there's so many options out there for creators these days to kind of go into. So
holy shit, it's top fun.
I do feel for people in that spot who have a lot of tough spots to decide like what to focus on with their content. Whereas like, this stream, it's always poker all the time. There can't be anything else. But when you're an individual creator, like for me, right, I'm always thinking about making a bunch of different kinds of content, but I usually just make the same kind of poker stuff because that's sort of...
I guess there's a straddle or something. Oh, yeah, another thing on straddle. And then there's some raise somewhere. Kind of confused as to what's happening in this hand. Whatever, let's see.
What do I do? But a lot of these creators also feel the same way in terms of different games that they can play and a new game and a new trend and a different platform. So people are trying to figure out how do they adjust. You can do it for 5 years, but can you do all this stuff for 10 years? You need an organization and you need people under you that can potentially fill some roles to give you some time away from.
All right, okay. So here we have a raise to 5,000, and then we have a bunch of callers for nonsense. The King 2 is terrible. The 10-4 or the 9-4 suited is terrible. I don't know why Tom Dwan's in this hand. He's been playing somewhat tight otherwise. Don't know why I picked this one. King 2 is terrible. 8-6 suited is like reasonable to try to see the flop. Reasonable enough. If you were in MrBeast shoes, though, to be fair, if you have like this insane image, you should probably just go bigger, right? Make it like 8,000, 9,000. Who cares? They're gonna call it nonsense. So you might as well make it bigger. So a lot of people seem to be confused, concerned about Alan. I've talked to Alan. I'm not going to blow up his spot, but if you use a little bit of logic, you can figure out what's happening.
The nonstop grind is MrBeast.
Top set.
Flops.
This is not the only game that is
3 ladies, top set.
Yeah, Alan's got a pair of 6s, which probably enough for him to come along for the ride. Little does he know that he's drawing very thin.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
That's Mrs. 101 if I've ever
Alan, what has he got?
He's got a pair of 6s,
bottom
backdoor
pair.
clubs, backdoor straight draw.
Okay.
Easy call.
Okay. Little something.
Yeah, he needs a 5 to win it. A 6 or an 8 would just...
Let's talk about this spot. So MrBeast has the top set. Top set's usually a pretty good slow playing hand. But, I mean, MrBeast can get away with just betting it, I guess. The problem is he's going kind of small, right? I mean, I get that the Pocket Queens usually does want to go small because they're trying to get called by a lot of pretty bad hands. But you're against Alan, who's kind of insane. MrBeast is kind of insane. So I think in the spot, you either want to just go big or check. The problem is when you check, the pot's just small, right? That's the problem here. So they're going to have a really difficult time getting all the money in. And obviously, MrBeast wants to get all the money in. So I think you should just bet bigger on the flop. And that's that. Right? Weird spot. Now, Alan can't fold for 10 here. I think you just got to call and try to spike.
Cost him.
20,000 on a good day.
Could win a big pot here if he gets lucky.
He did not get lucky, and that's actually going to cost him now.
MrBeast, beast in this river, 4 of a kind.
I don't know if this is necessarily going to cost him. This is a spot where there's plenty of bluffs available for MrBeast to potentially have. Now, will MrBeast do this? I don't know. Eric says, MrBeast betting big with the bluffs and small with the nuts. Yeah, maybe that's the case. You'll find a lot of players who are not very good poker players have kind of clear tells, bet sizing tells, where they do exactly that, right? Anyway, I'd go big here. I mean, again, it's a spot where you're going to have a hard time getting paid. But if Alan does have a bluff catcher, like a 7 or pocket 9s or something, he's just going to call. If he has nothing, he's obviously going to fold, but if you check, he may bluff. So I think in this scenario, you probably want to either bet big and just try to look polarized, or check. I mean, I'm sure a check is the GTO play. It's got to be. But I don't know. Check or bet big, one of the two. Bet big is exploitative just to try to use your image and get paid off.
I got
40, 45.
Yes, if you need the gas, I mean, I got it.
Are you looking for action?
Yeah, a little left in the tank.
Has Keating ever not looked for action, Jimmy?
Look at MrBeast. He's like, what do I do with quads?
How much money would I like to add here?
All I can hear you say is...
Don't get too greedy.
Look at you.
Keating, what's your longest session?
I'll do 40.
We're talking...
I don't measure in hours. I measure in dollars lost.
5 minutes tops.
How much is it? 40.
Yeah.
Right.
With God,
you can re-raise if you want.
He's looking over it.
I need something to like wake me up. I need some adrenaline.
Yeah, it's called caffeine.
I'm gonna write
Good idea.
caffeine.
Pull up your phone and look at your YouTube subscribers. There you go, dude.
I don't have it on me.
Let me sweat.
Oh, you're right. Fuck.
I don't want you to.
He's chalk.
I won't
He's doing
sweat.
drain his
Okay,
power, bro. You can't like re-tap into it.
I mean, you can. You,
I
you
won't
can.
even.
You can.
I won't even.
Go for it. Go for it.
I'll look at one.
Ah, MrBeast can't check. He's in position. Ah, well, definitely bet small. My bad. I got confused by big blind or straddle. I got confused by that. My fault. Yeah. So, my fault. Again, it's hard for me to follow this and read the chat. Yeah, obviously bet, and I would bet big then. I think big is probably fine. Hey, let's go big.
I was trying to get a read on Ludwig now.
You know you want it.
He won't get a read off me.
I hate folding, man.
I'm like Alan.
Really?
How much is it? You'll let me walk away with a free 50-gram pot?
I'm gonna get back in that substitute teacher position and figure this out.
What's up, guys? I'm talking about jerking off.
I believe so, yeah.
I need the
Oh my god.
Alan, one of the worst cards maybe to have with the 8.
Chat reaction. I got you.
So why would Joe Ingram say this is one of the worst cards to have with the 8? Do you know why? Why does Alan really not want to have an 8? Well, because with the 8, you block all the straight draws, right? A lot of the straight draws would be 10-9, 10-8, and 9-8. Lots of very obvious flush draws that may raise over limps if they're suited. But, would MrBeast re-raise small pre-flop over raise a call and a call with a hand containing an 8? That does not seem like his strategy. His strategy seems more to re-raise way more polarized. Now, I could be wrong, but I would imagine MrBeast is just going to call pre-flop with hands like 9-8 suited, right? 9-8 offsuit, as everybody else in this game seems to do. So I gotta presume the 8 actually doesn't matter as much as you may think it does in this scenario, right? It would be very different if the key blocker card was like a king or something. It's not here, but then MrBeast is going to re-raise with stuff like kings, right? Here, though, I don't think the 8 actually matters. So what really matters is, would MrBeast run this play with something like ace-10 suited or king-jack suited? Would he? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I would be very interested to know if there's like a backdoor flush draw available, right? This is a spot where if there's a backdoor flush draw available, then you should probably be way more inclined to call. Notice there was not a backdoor flush draw available, though, right? This is a weird spot where you really need MrBeast to just be blasting it off with just some nonsense. Another tough thing about this here is that you lose to the 7-2. That'd be a problem, right? Oh, here, there we have Solway here in the chat says the exact same thing. Yeah, the 7-2 is annoying because that's a hand that they would re-raise pre-flop. But remember, you re-raise small. Most people don't re-raise small with the 7-2. They re-raise small with good hands. So I gotta presume most of the MrBeast range is going to be pretty good stuff, plus maybe some nonsense. But I don't think the nonsense contains all that many straight draws here. So do you call, do you fold? I don't know. I'd probably just call. Whatever. Chalk it up to a cooler.
We all in for handle yourself.
I'm dying to know what you have.
Yeah, I do okay.
I can't believe I need to get
Handle
Andrea.
yourself up.
I can't believe Andrea and I are getting a better car now.
If it's allowed, you should probably show the 6 here. Well, I mean, you say the bigger problem is how many bluffs does MrBeast have? I mean, the obvious ones are ace-king, ace-jack, ace-10, king-jack, jack-10, right? All those are hands that could potentially bluff. The question is, would he bluff those? Would he 3-bet those pre-flop? I don't know. I definitely think ace-king, ace-jack, ace-10, king-jack suited are there. Would they run this bluff, though? Maybe not. And if the answer is no, then, well, then you should be way more inclined to fold, right? Also, does MrBeast ever just randomly do this with the 10-8 suited? The 10-9 suited. If he does, then obviously you should be way more inclined to call. But 10-9 offsuit for all I know. Remember, it went 1,400, call, 3-bet to 5,000. That is strong. That is strong in these games, especially when they have the 7-2, they go 20,000.
Last time you had like a king high flush. This time you got fucking...
Well, there's no flushes this time.
That's all I can
Do you have a pair?
What was that thing you said that one time? What was it? I will not comment on the state of my hand. Yeah, the contents of my hand.
He says, scare money don't make
I mean, if you want me to just take the 50 grand, I can. I'm so tired. I can't even think straight anymore.
Laughing is something people don't do a whole lot of when they're bluffing. Just a FYI. Also, do you have a pair? Well, at least a pair of queens. All right? Because
you earned it.
Okay.
Hey, Jimmy, drink more. It'll help.
Bro, I feel so bad for once.
Oh, wow.
You know the fuck part? I didn't even see both. I saw one queen. I was like, he wins. There was two.
GT. Oh, no.
I am.
He's tired of nutting.
Yeah. Can you give something good?
Wait, what'd you have? What'd you have?
6, 8.
Wait.
No!
He had 2 pairs. He had 6s.
Dude, you called that with 6s.
6s is bad.
Oh my god, I wish you had something crazy like trips
right now
or
is
something.
thinking of like, what's the next flight JetBlue does to Vegas? Do I fly out of...
All right, then. That's going to be it for today. I want to thank all of you for being here. If you're a poker coaching member, we have a study session with Louis Philippe and the Sharks starting very, very soon. Make sure you get into that. There's a community tab in pokercoaching.com. Go there, get in the Discord, and hop in the study session. This was, to be fair, about what I expected from this stream. Again, not a whole lot surprises me. I don't hate the call there if you think MrBeast is insane. Yeah, sometimes you have quads. When people laugh, they usually have nuts. All Alan does is lose. Ben, you may be surprised. I think a lot of people don't understand how you go about getting in these spots. And, very importantly, do you actually want to win in these spots? That's what you got to consider. A long time ago, I learned when you're playing in spots like this, you have to shear the sheep and not kill the sheep. Sounds a little predatory, I'm aware. But there's a lot to that. And, you get the sheep to come back all the time? You feed them a little bit. That's me for today. Have a good day. Make the most of your opportunities. Thank you all for being here in this show. If you like this show, do me a favor. Click the like button, click the subscribe button. Tell your friends. I hope you have a great, great week. I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye-bye.